Hello and welcome to the newest RedLight Renegades with me, Bard, and the person next to me is
Griff.
And today we are going to be talking about... today we're going to be having a discussion. This is not going to be so much about, hey, this is some cool porn we found, or hey, this is classy, tasteful stuff like Summertime Saga. By the way, the update about milking the ant is fantastic. Spoilers.
Did you actually play it?
Yes, I did. I actually thought it worked really well.
I would have loved to have continued playing it, but I have nothing but corrupted save files.
Ouch.
I cannot reload a save file at all for the life of me.
That is sucky. But today, and yes, I know it's been like a month or two since we've uploaded.
We missed you.
I missed you more.
Don't listen to him.
So, what we're going to be doing is we will be getting back to playing, we will get back to the dirty game reviews. Actually, do a review on a couple pornographic films. Like My Little Pony, which is phenomenal still. And yes, Pinkie Pie is actually my favorite pony in that. But I like them real thick and juicy.
So find that juicy double.
But today... By the way, spoiler warning, not spoiler warning, trigger warning, just a warning in general.
Blanket warning.
If you do not like discussions that will skew towards, we are technically an over 18 thing, but we haven't gotten hit by YouTube yet. Please don't. We don't make enough money. As in, we don't.
We love you, YouTube.
And I do have a Patreon for my comics and stuff if you want to give me money there. Anyways. What we're going to be talking about, what we do talk about is, risque, over 18 material. And while this is going to be a discussion about certain things, if you do, if you are under 18 and aren't, allowed to even hear this,
or if it's not allowed in your country for you to hear conversations of this type.
Because I know we have a lot of North Korean viewers.
No,
I know what you mean. U.S. is still fairly
loose on their laws for this kind of dealio. But there are certain countries that will not allow
one goat. Anyways,
the Scottish ruined it again. Damn you, goat fuckers. Now I cannot fuck the goat.
I was going to blame the New Zealanders. But I think that really shows our different group of friends.
But I don't know enough Kiwis.
I do.
I don't.
But anyways, or if you are a bit squeamish on this topic, such as, you think that all porn is evil, bad, no matter what, no context, no anything else, just bare naked ladies, not the band. By the way, how many of our listeners will go, dude, bare naked ladies?
Listeners or recorders?
Oh, both of us are just going, I remember them. They were famous.
Been 1 week since you were famous.
No, it's been 15 years since you looked at them. We looked them up. Anyways.
No, they have that Rooster Teeth thing going now.
Oh, do they? I didn't know that was a thing. But anyways, wow, we are already 4 minutes into this and we haven't even gotten to the topic.
So, yes, if you do not like discussions of a sexual nature, by all means, have your opinion. Just don't destroy our channel because you don't like it. Just be an adult and move away.
But give us a thumbs up because we do, when we talk about it, look back at our videos. If you're squeamish, look back at our vids. We take it at a tasteful route. Well, as tasteful as you can talk about ass and titties.
Ass and titties.
And we do swear.
A lot.
Like a sailor on shore leave riding Mae Young.
Ew.
This is back in 1930-something. It's okay.
Oh, so before the hand went in and out of her.
Oh my lord, she has a dick. I know that's a totally different Mark Henry thing.
But Mark Henry.
I want to make this is going to be for Wrestling Archivists.
We'll talk about that later. Just not right now.
Yes. Anyways, so this discussion is actually going to be something that is near and dear, and we've actually gotten questions about before, and does actually tie into those people who, would see this, just the tag, and I know we don't have anything tasteful on screen right now. I'm sorry. We're not doing a game. This is just a podcasty, discussion-y thing. So, boobs.
There's gonna be no boobs. There's just gonna be the logo for the entire duration.
Not true. I may make a little stick figure of you and a little stick figure of me. We really need to start getting money for this channel because I would love to have a lot of the artists we follow.
Or just some really bad MS Paint boobs.
It is a boob. Actually, it's going to be one of those lights that look like a boob. But anywho, so what we are going to be talking about today is why we do, well, it's almost why we do what we do, but it is, what is, God, this is going to make it sound so pretentious. What is important about pornography? That is really pretentious sounding, isn't it?
Kind of.
But you understand what I mean. And
Right.
I hope you at home also understand what I mean. This isn't important like, why should Deep Throat be a cult cinema classic versus why Caligula
Isn't considered a pornographic movie.
Oh, it is totally considered a pornographic
But it's not a porno.
That's because it had a high production budget. And when
So
you have
did
gore,
Pirates.
no.
Yeah, it did.
Well, yes, Pirates had a high porn budget, but Caligula had a high fucking budget versus the high fucking budget. But what we mean by the importance of porn is, well, porn... Hold on, I got a way to make this sound even more pretentious. In the beginning, there was porn. And really, that's how it comes, you know what I mean? It is important. Oh, man, I realize this topic is just gonna...
Just stop trying to focus on how to say it. Let's just talk about it.
Porn is good. Period. I mean, there are bad porns out there.
We've seen a number of them.
Hell, even one porn game we played was really, really bad. Because it was an hour and it was an hour of talking.
Don't get me started.
But, and here's the but. Here's the big but on that. I like big butts. But
You
actually,
cannot lie about
even a song like that is considered...
That's more just sexual, not pornographic.
Well, that's the thing about westernized ideology. And no, I'm not saying that, you know, them Japs, they totally know how to...
Well, no, the only thing that could be considered pornographic in that is the giant, beyond fake-looking ass that Sir Mix-a-Lot sat in there, and by quoting him, looking like a giant turd in.
Excuse me, I want an ass thrown.
Now, if you're going to talk about music that borders on the line of pornographic, you got to talk about things like Nicki Minaj's Anaconda video.
That is that is a pornographic video, that is true.
As opposed to a sexualized one like, what's the Aerosmith one where Steven Tyler's daughter stripped in it?
Janie's Got a Gun, isn't it?
I don't know. I
want to say that was the one that Liv Tyler stripped in.
I don't know. But that's sexual, not pornographic.
Right. That's true. That's true. But as a whole, the Western world is okay with violence. Is great with violence, and I know everyone's already typing away at their keyboards because it's the internet, and that's how we do.
I can hear the sound of 1,000 warriors cracking their knuckles, preparing their keyboard weapons.
And that's a problem because the left should not be this whole hog against. Because I get a lot of people who are, you know, very bipolar when it comes to this. Everyone else, they have to be pretty much wearing a hijab, versus themselves. If you would even suggest that they, you know, button one of the 18 on their blouse. I don't know why their blouse would have 18 buttons.
They have a very long torso. They have to get their shirts custom made. Okay? It's a hassle already. Just let them have a little bit of freedom. Alright?
But that is where the West's ideology is. And when it comes to pornography, it has always been this is gonna, again, sound really wicked pretentious. It's liberating. Something like Summertime Saga, which is porn. It is.
It's a pornographic game. They're straight up fucking.
But, dude, in the first 5 minutes, tits and ass everywhere.
Well, not everywhere.
No, and I don't think you actually see a butt for a while. Because you see what's-her-name's tits, and that gets you hard.
It depends on the order you do things.
Okay, fair enough, because you could see your sister in the shower.
Right, or your mother, or you can spy on your neighbor, and even though she's panty-clad, it's
a nice butt. I'm saying she's over 18, it's a nice butt. But...
there's actually a disclaimer at the very front of the game that says all characters in this game are portrayed as 18 and over.
Oh, well, thank heavens. Heavens to Murgatroyd. But, like a game like that, it is a porn game. But it is extremely liberating. God, all I hear is keyboards. It's liberating because, they can have the fun with it. They can have the strip poker game.
Right.
They can have the ogrette fleshlight being delivered to your friend's house.
See, the thing of it is, when you set out to make a game that you know is going to be viewed as pornographic, there's so much more that you can actually do with it. Because you don't have to worry about towing that line that, for games that the ESRB sets out. Or for movies that the MPAA set out. You don't have to worry about all of this. You can just... You have your own freedoms to take and go wherever you want to.
And that's one of the best points.
See, with music, it's a little bit different. Well,
music, it is different because you can go with the, Scotty doesn't know route of, hey, we fucking everywhere. Or you can go with the Rev 2220.
Right. But even Rev 2220 is still subtle about...
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What they do with it. Things like Scotty doesn't know, or... This is
Point Star Dancing.
Right, and this is probably a song I don't know, but fucked your bitch last night. Probably a song. And it's probably a 2.5-minute serenade about how this dude fucked this other dude's bitch one night. Literally, you can go that way, or you can go with the subtle ones.
Right.
You can go with, Rev 2220. Why is nothing else coming to mind?
That's because, to be fair, Bad Girlfriend would technically, no, Addicted.
Right, Addicted is another good one.
Who did that? Saving Abel?
Yes.
Okay.
Paralyzer. Paralyzer is another good one by Finger 11.
And, Crazy Bitch, I would say...
Listen, I don't talk about that song, and you know why. There's a story behind that, but it's not story time. It's analysis time.
You're right. This is a discussion. Maybe we should just start having other vlogs or other, vids, audios that are just story time with Bod and Criff.
Let us know if you actually want that, because we could have fun with that.
Especially since we can talk about Bat Time and Crazy Bitch Time.
and Traffic Cone Day.
And the one time we almost both got AIDS at the same night.
Oh my god.
That was the most terrifyingly hilarious in hindsight night. Except I didn't go back after the bitch.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I had the foreknowledge. I saved your life.
That was the best text of... Dude, she got the AIDS.
No,
all I was thinking about was that scene from Showgirls. Everybody got AIDS and shit. I think that's the only line from that.
You know what? We're gonna have to record a couple story times after this, just for the sake of recording them.
Yeah, and then considering we're 14 minutes in, and we really have not talked about why. The discussion is why all of this is important. And to me, it all traces back to... If you can't get your kinks mentally, you will try going it out physically.
Right.
Now, there are obviously cases where you could go, well, because he was in this life so much, thanks to the internet and role-playing online, he did slip into that reality, but that is the exception.
That's a fringe case.
Yeah, that's the exception, not the case.
Right.
90% of the furries I know are... regular people. They're not, let's dress up in a fursuit and start a gangbang.
Right, or let's not go, find the family dog and play hide the sausage.
Or I'm actually a wolfkin, or furkin, or... Furkin, man. Tumblr destroyed...
Firkins.
I will state this. Tumblr destroyed sexuality. And not in the good way. It became...
It did for a while, but it's trying to redeem itself. It's trying to fight for sexuality now.
Well, the thing is that you're right.
It depends
because you finally have the rubber band of... It's like when we go too conservative politically, suddenly we get the rubber band of everyone trying to hit left hard.
It depends on where you are on Tumblr, too.
That's true. There's a very, very kinky side of Tumblr.
Besides that, there's also the community that thinks the way we do. Where your sexuality is what your sexuality is.
Yeah.
You like what you like. By all means, like it.
And there should never be, like... I understand labels, like, standard labeling. But we will get into that.
That's a whole discussion.
That is a can of worms. But, like... No surprise, or it shouldn't be a surprise considering how many furries I follow on the Twitter. By the way, Griff has nothing to do with the Twitter. But one day he will go on there and go, fuck's with all this dick?
See, and here I was expecting our Twitter to turn into a twatter. Ba-doom.
That was horrible.
Yes.
That was terrible, terrible.
I am horrible.
By the way, if you can't tell, we're kind of trying to use humor because this is
It's a very heavy topic and we're trying to lighten it.
Yeah, it's a very heavy topic that everyone from the right to the left will find fault in what we say because it doesn't line up 100% with what they think. Even if it lines up 99%, they're still going to go...
Yeah, but... And then they're going to have like a 7-hour-long argument about it.
And you know what? That's great because this is a discussion. If you feel, porn isn't important or, maybe the amount of porn we have is too damn high. Which I can actually say is
Spent a lot of lonely nights on the internet. There's a lot of it out there.
There's a lot of it, and there's some weird stuff. Any guy at 4 a.m. who just will have that jerk of shame. That
chairporn.com. Look it up.
Is that actually a thing?
Oh my god, yes. It's just chairs on top of chairs. It's just chairs on top of each other in different positions. Like there's one lying on its back and the other one standing with
Why?
the legs on it. I don't know why it's a thing.
But it's hilarious.
And you know damn well there is at least one person in this world who typed it in, saw it, got hard, didn't know why, and went, I can jerk it to this.
Of course, to be fair, I think every 16-year-old has at least gotten hard just off of linoleum once. And I'm not talking about like, oh man, I'm gonna lick that long. Just, oh hey, linoleum. Wham! What the fuck is in my pants? Hormones, man.
But the bus ride to school used to be the worst culprit for me. That's how I learned to sit with my legs crossed while sitting in like a chair.
To be fair, the last time I rode a bus, I was with my then girlfriend at the time, and this is not story time. We're talking about the importance of...
The bus wasn't the only thing that got rode.
No, it was a handy.
Mm-hmm.
Or an old-fashioned, if you're old-fashioned like me. But, so this is, and I know, like I said, like 3 minutes of this has actually been us talking about this topic. But it's about an openness.
Right.
Like, I get a lot of people who turn around and, like, especially California was doing this law on all porn stars should have to wear condoms.
Right.
Which makes sense to me,
in a safety sense, right.
But a lot of my left-leaning friends turn around and instead of going, well, yes, that makes logical sense because porn, will exist. It's good to have a regulation versus letting it run rampant. It's kind of like the drug department on that. If you don't regulate it, it becomes a cartel, and then you get things like, where Lacey Loveless or Jenna Loveless or Jenna James. No, she's actually still really big into porn scene. I want to go to PornCon or whatever it's called.
I think it's like AVNCon, like
it's something like
Adult Video Con or something like that. I want to go too.
That is my one of my 3 big goals on
Yeah.
this channel is, 1, I want to go to FurCon or Toronto FurCon.
Yeah.
Mainly just because I've never been to a FurCon, and I'm kind of...
I don't know enough about it, and it would be an interesting learning
And that's
experience.
the thing.
It'd be nice to sit and talk with people who are in that lifestyle and
if there's an
learn.
orgy, I would totally be into it.
Would you put on the fursuit?
Not my first time. Well, maybe the first time, because I would not feel comfortable enough if, like, I've got 8 people grinding on me.
So you'd wear the head.
I think so. I think I would be a rosebud for a night.
Would you put
That's
on...
a bunny joke for wrestling.
Would you put on one of those
slide over
the... Yeah.
One of those over the cock animal things.
Yeah, would you wear one of those?
I don't know. Because, like, I think this is going to be its own video, because this is actually an interesting talk. But I know we're already at 20 minutes and we've... Okay, so let's spend the next 4 minutes actually being adults. So, the importance of porn is that, like, I understand why there are certain regulations. I understand they should have condoms.
Right. Specific regulations I completely understand. Like medical testing.
Yeah.
Like, you have to...
Like, there
you
should
have to
be
bring,
a
like,
union, there should be...
Right. But what I don't understand is, like, what happened in England recently. Over the past, like, 5-6 years.
What's that now?
You're not allowed to show oral. You're not allowed to show anal. You're not allowed to show female ejaculation. And
As in them coming, or, like, squirting?
Squirting.
Okay.
you're not allowed to show anything more than 4 inches away. So you can't get, like, that weird, like, reverse cowgirl zoom in.
Oh, that's not fair!
And you cannot show male ejaculate on any exterior part of a female.
Wait, that's new?
It's like the past 6 years.
Because I remember...
It's like 5-6 years old.
I remember
England passed
reading...
all of that as a regulation.
I remember reading a comic, that was set in the 90s in the UK, and they were talking about how hardcore porn, pretty much all porn was outlawed, which actually led to the rise of, the punk grunge movement, which I think is freaking phenomenal.
What they did is they tried removing porn entirely.
Yeah, no,
And once that failed...
Now they're trying to...
They brought it back. They're like, okay, fine, here, have your porn back. Think about it like Prohibition.
Okay.
We're going to take away your alcohol. Oh, shit. Here, have your alcohol back.
Now
Except, think about it in this sense. It was, okay, here, have your alcohol back. Wait a little bit, and then you go, okay, we're taking all your liquor. You can only have beer.
Yeah. Beer and wine.
I don't know if I'd
What's
include
their rule on
wine.
double pen? You have no idea off the top of your head.
Allowed, but you cannot ejaculate outside of the woman. She cannot squirt, and it has to be vaginal and oral, and that's it.
God damn it.
Because the rules clearly state no anal,
Yeah.
no female ejaculation, and no male ejaculation out on any outside part of a female.
What if you ejaculate on her tongue, and then she pulls it back into her mouth? Or if you show her doing that really... whatever floats your boat porn-wise has always been my... But that thing where they're, like, pulling it in their mouth, kind of like, blah.
Oh, and they're just, like, playing with it in their mouth?
Yeah, that's not a thing for me.
I think it's a no-fly zone. I'm pretty sure it's a no-fly zone.
I would assume so. Because it would be showing...
Right. Or it's like, the Far Eastern adult videos where... the genitalia has to be censored.
Right, where it has to be censored. And interesting enough, because of that sort of logic, that's why we have the tentacle porn we have today.
Right, because it's not a genital.
Because it was literally, hey, you can't show, you cannot show a female being penetrated at all by a penis. Hey, this is not a penis. This is a tentacle that just remarkably looks like a penis and can ejaculate a green goo.
It doesn't ejaculate a green goo. It exudes a green goo.
But I think that's why, and what's funny is that I do follow a lot of people on the Twitter because I love Mish, I love Red Rusker.
Right.
There's a lot of people who, if it wasn't for things like the tentacle and just pretty much as like a historical porn history, we would probably not have the same level the same
amount we have today.
Same amount, same
variation.
Variation, that's the word. Yeah, variation is the word I'll go with. you know, like
Selection.
categories, catalogs. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and here's the thing, there's one big thing that I want to bring up about this. Again, as stated in the beginning, your opinion is your opinion. We are not here to tell you you are wrong.
The only time I will ever tell you you're wrong is when you start slapping that thing harder than hell.
Or when
I'm teasing.
Or when you reel back and, like, legitimately, like, break someone's nose mid-thrust. If you're hitting them that hard, we have a problem.
Blue is the safety color.
No, but we will never tell you your opinion is wrong,
We may disagree with you.
whether you're 1,000% for porn, or you're 1,000% against it, or you're somewhere in the middle. You know, you like a porn when you're feeling a little lonely, but you don't go crazy. You know, you don't go for the bondage and
It's
the
like one of my
latex
exes.
suits.
One of my exes hated porn by itself. But me and her fooling around, we were able to watch it, and she...
Is this the same ex who always noticed shoes?
Yes.
Okay.
We were...
Heard this story, but that's for story time.
Okay, you're right.
So, but what I'm trying to get across is, historically speaking, whether it comes to porn or anything else, if you try and remove it 100%, there will be people who fight it and find a way around it.
Like, again, in the 90s with the UK, that's where the rise of the snuff film came from. Where
Right.
people would, you know, just hand each other VHS, just, yo, man, there's this chick just being fucking ripped open by the football team. Excuse me.
Or, again, going all the way back, you know, again, taking it off the porn for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, prohibition. The war on drugs. The more you try and eliminate something, the harder the resistance is going to be and the more ways around it where they're going to
And
find.
the more problems that come about, and the more dangers that come about.
Right.
Like with prohibition, bathtub gin. People did go blind. It's why we have cocktails as big as we have now.
Right.
Is because, you know, you couldn't just be, you know...
You couldn't just chug that straight.
It was rubbing alcohol 90% of the time. Or with the war on drugs, suddenly to get around weed laws, they have synthetic weed.
Which causes seizures.
And apparently zombieism.
That wasn't synthetic weed. That was the bath salt.
No, there's the new synthetic...
Yeah, I saw that one.
We also
the actual
had,
zombie
in
drug.
the local area, at least when I was dying of pancreatitis, the nurses were talking to the police because there had been this huge synthetic weed thing that was
Are
being
you
smoked.
sure they were actually talking, or was that one of your hallucinations?
I was
With your near-death experience.
No, but I did see Billy D. Williams, and he told me to go into the light.
But that's neither here nor there. No, it's, you know...
We're already at 28. So
My view is you cannot ban it 100%. Should you regulate it? Should you monitor it? Should there be, you know, rules and stipulations? Yes, there should. Because, you know, you shouldn't be plowing someone and then all of a sudden take out a 9mm and blow out the back of their brains and go for that hole instead. That's wrong. That's very wrong.
glad this ain't on video, because damn. He even did a little pantomime of thrusting, doing dogs. He just did the finger gun, and then bam. But no, that's exactly
It was the most extreme I could come up with.
But even then, there should be regulations for birth control, especially because,
Right. Right, there should be, you know, that should just, you know, all of it should be regulated. Either, you know, a female actress on birth control or a male actor who has had a vasectomy.
Right.
You know, and there has to be proof. There has to be an up-to-date medical record before every single scene.
Yeah, basically the same way every actor on, you know, the screen
Right.
actor for SAG has to have an updated physical. Most people
Right.
say every movie. Sometimes I think that's like a full year or something like that.
I think it's like every 6 months you have to,
Or-
you should update it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's exactly
Right, for safety and obviously for concerns. You know, should there be regulations on what is shown? Yes. I mean, are there people who are into people, you know, completely covered almost head to toe in latex with only breathing holes cut out? Yes. By all means, if you're into that, go for that.
breathing holes and other holes.
Depending. Sometimes
Zachary
you can,
Quinto and nothing but latex.
sometimes you can just take those breathing holes and use it for other things.
Any, but no, that's pretty much exactly
But you know,
what it
things
is.
like that, you're into that, by all means, go look at that. And if that stops you from kidnapping someone and dipping them in liquid latex, please, watch that instead of doing that.
That's actually something, and yes, I know we're already a half hour into this, sorry. We're trying to be entertaining. But that's actually one of the big things that, like, a lot of people talk, especially since recently, there's been a huge crackdown on the net about Lolicon and
Right.
Shotacon. To me, I totally agree that, you know, child porn on a, you know...
Actual child pornography is a horrible thing.
But on Lolicon, like, art, not Lolicon as in...
Right, no, on people who are drawing characters who look like they could be underage or
even Haruhi Suzumiya,
Right.
You know, people who draw those. I get that, and I don't disagree with that. I'm not necessarily all for it,
right.
but I understand the people, you know, who, because, like, I'll admit, this is a little bit of story time. Hold on. I started having sex at a very young age, and while I'm not saying that I go after, you know, small children, I'm not saying that. Stop typing for a second. There is something to, you know, like, hypothetically reading a story, you know, a well-written story, because I remember this one story way back where someone was talking about their first time, and, you know, the person they fell in love with and everything like that, on a very detailed level, yes, you know, when it came to the sex, but there was, you know, 3 full, you know, chapters of...
Right, but
A
that
build-up to
also begs the question, is a story that's just descriptory considered child pornography?
I think...
Because there's no pornographic view of a child.
Well, that's an
There's
interesting thing, because, like, I know a lot of places have banned Lolita.
Right.
Not because that there's, you know, full descriptions of sex, because there isn't. In fact, there's actually very little official child sex in it.
Right.
Yes, Lolita's a fucking whore, but that's actually kind of an interesting growth thing that a lot of people need to read the book to get, because
Right.
because the Jeremy Irons made-for-TV film that came out, Jeremy Irons should never be the guy.
Jeremy Irons should not be in that role ever.
Should either be an evil woodpecker or an evil pope. Or
But-
ska.
The other thing that happens is, like what Japan's doing. Japan is currently making actual adult dolls, pretty much.
Oh, they're children dolls, technically.
Well, they're adult-themed dolls.
And I'm not sure if that story is actually true or
It
not
is.
yet. Oh, is it actually?
Yes. They're working on it. There's no actual, like, working prototype or anything.
Right.
Because they're trying to figure out a way to make sure they can have everything functioning in a smaller package, as it were.
I really wonder how the guy who was told, hey, I need you to design a pedo doll. What do you think he was... So this is why I was put onto this earth.
Well, you gotta remember, he made the sex robot to begin with.
Great. Now, could you...
Take that and just shrink it.
like a midget?
Like a midget, yes.
I'm sorry, for me, I don't know how I could be that guy who has to model the ad. Like, hey, are these tits good enough for, you know, a 10-year-old?
Well, what I think they do is I think they actually have him working with actual convicted pedophiles.
Okay.
And they're trying to assist him, like, with designs and things like that.
Right.
Which would make a lot of sense and keep it
Which is also something interesting because
safe-ish.
from what I've read, I do know a couple people who've been convicted of certain things in that category. Not fully enough
Right.
that
No,
I would
not to...
want to shank them, but enough so that
Right, where
they did jail time
they're on
for
a
it.
list.
Yeah. To be fair, to be on the sex offenders list in the U.S., anything...
You look at someone the wrong way. And
You could walk out in a bathrobe to get your paper and be convicted to be
And
put on.
now, mind you, that's in your bathrobe with like an actual pair of like basketball shorts and a t-shirt or a tank top on underneath, and you're on the list because it's suggestive enough.
Because the thing is that to be on the list, you pretty much have to do anything that is remotely
Construed as sexual,
not the word I'm saying.
unwillingly construed as sexual.
Right.
Construed
Like
as
taking
an
a leak-
unwilling sexual.
Like, hypothetically, you and your buddy... Let me rephrase that. You go out and pee in front of a bar. You pee on your truck, you know. By the way, we do kind of live in a rural area, so
Right.
that
So
happens
people pee on their truck a lot.
In the city, they do that too, but
That's only like our exclusive group of friends who don't come to the city very often.
that's a fair point. But, you know, if you got arrested for urinating in public, it technically counts as, really depending on the judge, but it is definitely something that...
It can be viewed as a sexual offense because it is indecent exposure.
By the way, the story we were talking about was that apparently Japan, and like I said, he's saying the story is true. I'm just saying it could not be. It's the internet. You know the internet. I know the internet.
I've done extensive research for the recording.
For the recording.
But how they're going, we get it, you know, pedophilia. They're going to start trying to give sex dolls to allow for a release without going after actual children. It's a similar thing with why I think that Lolicon shouldn't be banned on an artistic level.
Right. So long as it is a drawn character, not an actual child, I see no problem with it.
Yeah, that's
so
the
long
thing.
as it's an artistic creation.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's art. But going back to what we were talking about with Japan and everything, I do like the way that they're viewing that, though. They're viewing pedophilia as something wrong with the mind.
And it really is.
It's,
like,
you know, a lot of fetishes can be viewed as twists of the mind. Not something wrong. I'm not going to say a fetish is something wrong. Because I have a couple that people would probably find wrong.
It's the choking that gets to me.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
I have. I like breathing.
Listen. It takes all types.
Although I do like being controlled.
See?
Not,
but that's a twist of the mind.
But that's the thing.
I wouldn't say there's something wrong with that.
That's exactly it. And we could see yours as an extension of that simple wanting to be dominated.
Right. And again, there's nothing wrong with
that.
that.
But I think that's going to be... Fetishes and talking about fetishes as a whole, I think will be a different video than this. But ultimately, it does boil down to why it's important.
Right. It's a difference in how your brain perceives things. And Japan is taking that, and they're trying to find a proper solution instead of... Now, I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound completely wrong, and I'll explain afterwards. Instead of just shaming these people. Because that's what we do here in the U.S.
No, it's true.
We put them on a list, we make them have to speak with all their neighbors, and we send around a government official to make sure they've talked to all their neighbors.
And that's very true.
And that's a good thing, though. I mean, we need to make sure that people are protected to begin with. But that's all we do. We keep an eye on that person.
There's no way to help.
Right.
We don't try helping. We try isolating, I think.
We just condemn and send them off on their way. Japan is trying to find a way to figure out a way to make sure that these people can be helped, and that by doing so, they're going to try and ensure that there are no future problems.
Right.
Which is the way it should be addressed.
It's kind of, and again, you know, we're going to get so many people just on this topic. If they make it almost 40 minutes into, I think I'll make this a part, you know, two-parter at least.
No, leave it as one part. Because... I want him to fight for the meat of this article. Discussion.
This is really going to be... This is going to be where you guys can bury us. Take notes. It's like, on pedophilia, we in the U.S., because we don't see it as... We see it as an attack. And yes, it is an attack. It is. But we don't see it. We don't
view it like any other attack, though.
That's right. We don't view it as the same as very hypothetically, a drunk driver. Okay? The drunk driver makes the choice to drink, everything like that.
Right.
And bam, we hit, they get into an accident. hypothetically,
Thank you for fixing that from we, because
I don't drink. I can't physically drink anymore, but I never did when I could.
I drink, but I always
Like a fucking fish.
I always make sure I don't have keys when I drink.
Well, yeah, that's...
because I don't even want that temptation there.
And that's the big thing, like...
Because I know when I drink, my inhibitions are out the window, what little inhibitions I have. And I know it's
You're
going
still
to...
wearing pants.
I know it's going to lead to a problem if I have that temptation there.
But I'm not saying pedophilia equals drunk driving, because drunk driving is a very bigger choice.
Let's look at the parallel I just drew there. I know what'll happen when I drink.
Right.
And I take steps to avoid that. But let's say I didn't know, or I couldn't realize.
Right. Suddenly...
And I didn't take those steps. All of a sudden, I'm doing something that I view as normal and okay. Well, not really okay, but I'm doing something that
you're thinking is okay.
Right.
It's rational in your head.
That's what I was looking for. It's rational in my head, but it's not viewed as rational to the rest of the world.
And that's very true.
So, what do? They take away my license. They prevent me from driving again. They give me jail time, probably. Because that's still...
Unless you call... Anyways, we're not going to plug any lawyers.
No, but the thing of it is, they give me jail time. They prevent me from being on the streets. Perfect, fine. They've taken precautions. Again, what do we do with people who are convicted of child pornography, pedophilia in general? We slap them on the wrist, we make them talk to people, and then we kind of let them go.
No, a lot of people get jail time.
Right, but they don't do anything after that.
Well, that's true, because but that becomes a problem with our penal system, as a whole, because... penal system as a whole... Dude, we have not made a joke in 5 minutes. Let me have the penal system.
We've been on this topic long enough.
You're right,
we really have. We've spent like
short
15
answer
minutes on
is mental health. Whether you agree with any of what we were just... By the way, it's like 3 a.m, so sorry if that became a ramble. But whether you agree with the pedophilia thing we were talking about, porn does help with mental health.
It does, because, you watch it, things happen to your body, you take care of those things, that releases endorphins, and it makes you feel good about yourself.
And, even if you're watching, the Harlem Globetrotters Debbie from Debbie Does Dallas, you're not going, man, I wish I was all 18 of them. Actually, I don't fucking know how many people are on the basketball team.
7. I wish I was all 7 of them. Or, depending on who you are,
Debbie.
Oh man, I wish I was Debbie.
I mean, hell, to be fair, a lot of guys have even probably just one night, just turned around and went, what the fuck am I... Because part of, besides...
I will admit it, I've sat down and I've gone, so how does gay porn actually work?
And to be fair, I've watched some gay porn. We watched Brotherhood that one time.
That's not actually a porn.
No, it's softcore.
As much as you want it to be.
I don't want it to be, man.
You do, because you like talking about it as a porn. It's not an actual porn.
You're right, because they kept their underwear on the entire time. The reason I want it to be a porn is because it would make...
their sunglasses.
It makes logical sense. They're in tighty whities the entire fucking time.
And sunglasses.
not this rant.
So, but anyways,
But it does help with mental... And even on the flip side, you turn around and go, maybe you just spanked one out to, I don't know, Brazilian transgendered midgets. I'm not saying if that's your thing.
By all means, let that be your thing.
But after after you're done, all of a sudden, you will have that moment of clarity that a lot of guys, after that jerk.
Oh, yeah. You have the you caught yourself moment.
And suddenly, in your head, you now have that line. Okay.
Right. You watch it, or even if you don't make it all the way through, even if you just, you start getting with yourself, and then you just stop, and you're like, I can't with this. You know where your line is.
And that becomes a mental thing you have. It's like, this is going to sound weird, and I'm not stating this as a biological fact. It's like white blood cells. It's like getting the vaccine. It's like getting a vaccine. Insofar as that suddenly... Hold on! Insofar as suddenly you now know your line. Okay, I'm not stating that all kids should watch all porn to know where they are.
Oh no, I'm more doing this because you brought up vaccines. And there's gonna be that one person. There's gonna be that one person. There's always that one person. This is the internet.
And that's a very, very true point. But either way, it's
But that one
good for
person is
mental.
going to give us interactions on our video. Thank you, that one person. You know who you are.
Here's to you, random guy.
But no, it does help with your mental health.
Or girl. Or
yeah.
furkin.
Now,
we
here's-
already pissed you guys off earlier.
Now, here's the thing. We speak, everything we've talked about tonight has been from the male perspective. We haven't really mentioned females, but that's for one very solitary reason. I am male. Bard is male.
I love you.
We've been male for our whole lives.
Excuse me, I was a little German girl
No, you weren't.
for a year or two.
No, you weren't.
It was a weird transition. But no, we
But
are both male.
We don't have a female perspective on this. If, by chance, if there are any females or anyone who knows any females who would like to chime in on this topic, please, by all means, interact with us. Let us know your opinion. Let us know how things work for you. Educate us. Don't just berate us, just educate us. We're willing to learn. We're willing to have a discourse with you.
Discourse, we're howling at the moon. Wait, no, that's a Discord. Sorry.
But as of right
Oh
now...
my god, that's
we've-
another Ponies reference.
As of right now, we've rambled for almost an hour on this topic.
So, let's go with our clothing. Let's go with our closing thoughts. I know this really started off as suddenly this has become a catch-all.
It
kind
really
of.
has, but we have covered our views
Porn is
on these
important.
topics.
And not even just straight up porn, not straight porn. There's various, and I enjoy varieties of porn that aren't just standard man, woman, missionary position. Actually, I don't think I've ever watched a missionary... No, never mind.
I've
Anyways,
seen porn with missionary position in there, but I've never watched one based around that.
I did once, but this was back when I had LimeWire. Yeah, peep to the people who destroyed their computer just for that 30-second porn clip.
Oh, please. We did that with Kazaa more than LimeWire.
Kazaa killed like 3 of my computers. But the point is that porn is important. Sex as a whole is important. Not just sex between you and a consenting other person. Or multiple people.
So long as there's consent and they're of the legal age.
Yes, because we don't want you guys doing that whole... You should never go for the... Consent is consent, but always work within the law.
Right. There are legal limits. Please know the limit. Stay within it.
Isn't that a...
It's a DWI thing, yeah. Bringing it right back around.
To 10 minutes ago. Let's bring this all the way back around. So final thoughts is, porn is important. The reason we do what we're doing here, and I know we didn't really bring this up at all, is because it is important. It's important to see the difference, of how, hypothetically, Summertime Saga handles their adult themes and what goes into that wrapped around the cocks. Versus something like Snow Days, which is a little bit more to the point, but also has its different take on it. And ultimately it becomes... A culture can be based around how it views sex.
Right, as opposed to Innocent Witches, which isn't based around anything except for
We need to
fan
do
fiction.
Witch Trainer, because that is apparently the key to everything.
We have to find the English version.
Don't worry, I think I found the English version.
But anyways, so those are your closing
So
thoughts?
I think that's my final thoughts.
Alright, my clothing thoughts are that clothing is evil. My closing thoughts are that, honestly, find what you're into and love that. Don't feel bad about what you're into. There's a lot of people who self-deprecate because of what they find attractive or arousing. And you really shouldn't. Everyone is built... Stop playing with that. Everyone is built differently, and everyone has different turn-ons. Everyone has different likes and dislikes. It's like your taste in food. I love chili. Bard hates chili.
I do.
We have different tastes. I like being choked. Bard doesn't. Because he's paranoid that someone's not going to stop.
Like, that is actually something that we'll get to.
But that's a different can of worms. I mean, you know, if you're one of the guys out there who likes your nutbag being hit like the speed bag at a gym, by all means, go for it, man.
Go for it. I
You
will never
do you.
I will never understand that.
Keep it away from me, but you do you. You know,
but I think that's actually a big thing that a lot of people forget is that this is going to sound horrible, but we are all different people. I'm not talking snowflake levels of...
No, but we all have different likes and dislikes. If you like it, man, go for it. If it makes you feel good, do you, so long as it's legal. Again, we stress, do not break the fucking law, and I'm so sorry I bumped the mic.
Smack my mic like it's a
I'm
dick.
so sorry I bumped the mic. But don't break the fucking law, people. We're not telling you to break the law. Don't try and use this as a defense, please.
Oh, I would love... actually, hypothetically, you ever get arrested? I might get a free trip out of it.
Yeah.
Be arrested someplace nice. So that way when I get called into court for talking y'all into this, we get to have a nice vacation out of it. Make sure it's a family-friendly place. I got kids.
I got a kid, too.
Oh, hey, so this Disneyland trip is sponsored by a sex crime. And we're having a Beck concert after. Sex laws?
Yeah, I know. But no, really, I mean, don't let anyone try and knock you down because of what you're into. You know, if you're into latex-bound fetish dolls...
You keep bringing those up. Are you into
No,
latex?
but it's the weirdest thing I can think of. I don't...
Undertale. If you love looking at Undertale porn.
Right, if you're into Sans boning, what's his name? I
The
can't
other
remember
bone
the other
brother there?
skeleton. If you're into the fact that they're skeletons, the fact that they're brothers, the fact that one of them has a glowing blue eye for some unknown reason. I don't play Undertale.
I've never played Undertale.
If you're into the goat women, go for it. Make yourself feel good. Don't let anyone tell you you're wrong. I'm done being a motivational speaker. Good night, America, and other countries.
And I'm just going to end that with, or I'm going to piggyback off of his, because you're right, you shouldn't, but don't bring other people down because of what you like. You like what you like, but never turn around and go, oh, unless they're being dicks first, obviously.
Right.
But never turn around because someone doesn't get, fursuits, or someone doesn't get My Little Pony, or someone doesn't get... And it's a general thing, and not just porn, but everything.
Life.
It's a
just
universal thing.
be a decent human being.
And choke them if they want to.
But remember, blue is a warning sign.
But honestly, this really became much more of a...
This turned into a motivational speech based off of porn.
Well, that's kind of what we're trying to do. We are talking porn, but in a positive way. It's not like... I love the cinema snob.
Right.
But we don't talk, what the fuck is this?
Right, because we know there's someone out there who's going to be aroused by singing, dancing vaginas.
But at the same time, when we start cracking open
When
all
we
those,
start going into those...
wood rocket bullshit,
we're gonna make
Guardians of the Galaxy. We need to watch Guardians of the Galaxy. Rocket Raccoon is hot, but the head is freaking me out.
Right, but...
It's like Pikachu from the...
No, that's not hot. That's just terrifying.
No, not if you look at everything but the head.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, we're gonna make jokes about it because let's face it, this is the internet. We're trying to entertain you. We are entertainers. We will take the piss out of just about anything we can find.
I'm not a fucking entertainer.
Yes, you
when
are.
When have I ever been entertaining? And that's... that 3-second pause speaks for itself.
I like how we both just watched the audio levels. But no.
Not even crickets, man.
But no, don't try and hurt other people just because they're not into what you're into. It shouldn't have to be said, but, it's today's society. And honestly, if anyone does try and bring you down and you just need an ear to listen to, send us a message. Hit us up on Twitter, hit us up here. We're here to listen. We're here to actually talk with people.
And that's the thing. That's what we really... ultimately, that's what this channel is. You know, we talk about the game reviews that, you know, I know we've only done 4, and that was forever ago. But this ultimately comes down to, I don't want to say representation, because we don't represent everybody, obviously. We represent who we is. And you could represent something completely different. Hell, you could represent exactly pretty much everything we've said, but still have a different story or have a different takeaway from everything.
Right, or you could view it a different way, and by all means, just help us understand. Like, people who are into fursuits, help us understand. The dude who's into getting his nuts hit like a speed bag, please, help me fucking understand. Because I don't even remotely see how that's a thing, but I know it's a thing. I've seen the video, and I winced in pain.
To be fair, it's the same thing when that video of, like, the dude lifting, like, 20 pounds with his dick.
Right, but that dude didn't get off on it.
I'll be honest, if I didn't get off on that, not even 1.5 pounds is going near my dick.
To be fair,
I held up a 112-pound girl once with it, but I think that also had to do with positioning more than...
And probably there was a wall involved.
No. Not the... Well, yes, but we were transitioning,
But she also has legs that were probably wrapped around her arms, and
I know.
assisting in the whole...
Stop breaking my joke down. I'm trying to be an entertainer. You said I was an entertainer, not just some whore.
But no, you know, let us know what you're into, and if you're too shy to just make it public on YouTube, again, we have a Twitter. It's probably in the description.
It's in the description, and you can just slide and nuzzle right up in our DMs.
We have a Gmail. Send us an email.
Whoa, you rhyme. Mail with mail, but still.
I get the notifications right to my phone. I could probably reply within an hour.
And our email, and that's actually a great way to close this out. We are here to talk to you guys. If a lot of people, or even, you know, 1 or 2, if you feel like, you know, we could have another one of these just random discussion things, you have a topic you want us to discuss, you just want us to go, you know, you just have no problem with us bringing up, hey, this dude messaged us, he really, really is into scuba diving. Like, he has to go down under at least 10 meters below the sea to whack it. Let's talk about that. If you do, though, we will make jokes.
Right, but they're not at your expense.
And that's a big thing that a lot of people don't really do anymore. It's not, you know, we can make a joke about, you know, look at this fucking guy. But
right,
at the same time...
it's never going to be, oh, look at this dude. Fuck him. Because we will never tell you to go, we'll tell you to go fuck off, but in a joking manner. We will never tell you you're wrong for what you feel.
Yeah. And if you a chick, hey...
We'll probably tell you to come fuck us. I mean...
Wow, that was subtle. Fucking slut.
I'm fucking tired. Stop making me record things at 3 a.m.
And with that, I definitely think we are done. Like he said, our DMs are open. We have Twitter at RedLight Renegades or RL Renegades.
It'll be in the description. Our actual YouTube's Gmail will be in the description as well.
Or just hit us up in the comments. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you give us a thumbs down, please at least tell us why in the description. Like, even if it's, you know, hey, fuck your editing. I didn't want a podcast. I wanted to see big old titties. I understand that.
Or
just let us know.
If you think we're not funny. If you think Bart here is not an entertainer.
Everyone, tell this motherfucker I am not an entertainer. I am a god. Okay, maybe I never said I was bigger than Jesus.
Chill.
But...
Down about 4 notches there, Kanye.
I shall now be the bova.
Bovine, maybe.
The bova and... Croesus?
Croesus sounds like the name of a rapper, actually. Bova just sounds like you have a speech impediment and can't say bovine.
Or hova. Either way, we are at... Hey, it's almost an hour, but not an hour. But we will probably I do probably want to break this up into a few vids, because I think we can't actually put up over 15.
All right, well,
To have
we'll do
them
it however we got to do it.
Either way, I am Bard,
I'm Sleepy Criff.
and we are outie
Later.
doses. Bwah!